Are you trying to figure out how to shop healthy at the grocery store? I've just got a bunch of information about some of the best products to put in your body so that you are healthier, and I want to share that with you guys today. It's great resource information. First of all, hi to all the new dads out there. This is Dad Reviews. This is where I give you my unedited, hopefully more authentic look at the products we like, use, and have, and books that we read, because that's what we're talking about today. So if you're interested in that, you might want to consider clicking that subscribe button. So I picked up this book from the library after listening to these two on a podcast. I did a review of the Bulletproof Diet, the book that I read, and I started getting into his radio show and whatnot, his podcast, and these two guys were on. This is, what are their names? Introduction, Jayson Calton, PhD, and Mira Calton, who's a certified nutrition. And so I was like, okay, he's got a PhD. Wait, I'm just talking about food. What does he have a PhD in? So he holds a doctorate in nutrition and has completed postdoctoral continuing medical education at Harvard Medical School and Yale School of Medicine. If you're interested in nutrition and you don't know what to buy at the store that's the best for you, get this book. I actually told my wife the other day that I want to buy this book, because I did get it from the library. I want to buy this book so that our kids can read it whenever they have to do their own type of grocery shopping, unless there's a follow-up to it or, more updated version. But as of right now, this has been the best grocery shopping book that I have read whenever it comes to eating healthy and being at the top of your nutrition game. It's called Rich Food, Poor Food. You ever heard of Rich Dad, Poor Dad by Robert Kiyosaki? It's kind of a play on that title right there, which that's kind of what drew me to it in the beginning, because I like the Rich Dad, Poor Dad books. But it's the ultimate grocery purchasing system, GPS. Shop smart, shop healthy, save time, save money, avoid hype and harmful ingredients. So the way that this thing is put together is the first 3 chapters are about looking at nutrition labels, and they basically break down like what some of the weird things on nutrition labels are, and they kind of categorized them by a few different things. One's like EMDs, it's things that take minerals from your body. One is like the bad boy, something bad boys, and it goes through all the GMOs and the counterfeit colors, the colors that are in there. What is this one called? Villainous variables. So the banned bad boys, that's what it was. So things that have been banned in other countries. Some of the good brands to look for. That's what I really love. So once you get through that particular section of the book, starting on page 43, you go into your aisles, which is kind of like your chapters of the book. They do it by aisle. This is aisle 1, where you go and talk about dairy. And whenever you're talking about dairy, they first start off with milk. And they tell you a little bit what they know about milk, why they think you should have certain kinds of milk, what you should look for in milk. But this is the kicker right here. This is the reason why you want to buy this book. It's for this chart right here. At the end of every section, like this is dairy, then they're going to go into cheese and yogurt, and then they're going to go into fruits and vegetables and spices and snacks and salty snacks and beverages, all the different things that you can buy. They tell you this is the steer here section, and this is all the things that you should buy, like all the brands that they recommend that are the best for you. Then there's this steer clear section in red. These are all of the brands that are not good for you. But what I love about this is that they tell you why they are not good for you. Then down here it goes into cream, it goes into goat milk, it goes into lactose-free milk. It even it must be later on in the book, they go through like a non-dairy, yeah, look right here, non-dairy food choice milk, like soy milk, rice milk, almond milk, hemp milk, coconut milk. And then they tell you like milk alternatives, and they go through all those right there, and which ones are good for you and which ones are bad. They even like, I was looking through the dairy one for the milk, like regular milk, and the Walmart brand whole milk was actually in the steer here section, which I was like, okay, that's very interesting. So they did some research. That's another thing that I really like about this book. Whenever I was listening to the podcast, they said, look, if we were unsure of something or we couldn't figure out something just from their website, we went that extra mile and called the company to figure out if it had this particular thing in it, if it was GMO, you know, if it was homogenized or pasteurized and all that type of stuff, all that stuff that sometimes may not be labeled or is kind of ambiguous, they go through and they call the company, they do all the research for you. And that's why I love this book so much. So what I plan on doing is making a spreadsheet of all the items that they say steer here on, and I want to put different columns for the different prices at different stores so that I can go in and figure out which store has the best price. If I finish that, whenever I finish that, I'll put it as a download for you guys if y'all want to check that out, maybe something that y'all might be interested in. But like I said, I've been trying to eat healthier, and this has been the book for it. If you guys want to check out this book, I'll link it up down in the description below. Like I said, I recommend buying it because it has this information right here. You could literally take this book to the store and like jot down notes or write in prices and all that type of stuff so that you have a better idea of what you're getting into here. Now, another thing that I really like about this is that whenever they were reaching out to companies to get more information, or the companies that they really, really like, they reached out to, and there's this whole section on their website for this right here. It's the coupon clipper. So you can go into their resource center on their website, and you can click that you want to download some coupons from some of these better brands that they recommend. And what's great about that is that usually some of these brands, because they're a higher quality brand, it's going to cost a little bit more. And so some brands have been like, okay, you know, we want to try and get people to buy these better products that we're producing, so let's give them a little bit of a coupon, an incentive to test it out. And so that's what they have put together here for you in their resource center, which I think is amazing. I believe this book was published a few years ago, 2013 or 14 or something like that. Yeah, copyright 2013 right there. But so I haven't checked the resource center lately. I'm curious to know if they've updated some things. Maybe they have some new products on there, new coupons that you can go through. But another thing too on the side here, you can kind of see it whenever I bend the book. Each chapter is kind of color coded right there too. So if once you learn the colors, you can be like, okay, produce, I can go to the green section here. Or if I want to go into fish and seafood, I can go into this red section here. Or if I want baking, I can go into the baking section here. And they talk about all the different things, snacks and beverages. And then even in the back here, there's this nice list of, these are all of the companies that don't have GMOs in their food as of this writing. And they go through aisle by aisle with all, because even though they may, like in the steer here section, they put out their best ones, there could be some other brands in here that are still good, they're just not the best. And so they go through and they did all the research so that you know what is the best. They go into some more packaging claims too, like if a package says light fat or reduced or low calorie or low fat or low saturated fat, they tell you what that means right here. So like low fat means 3 grams or less per 50 grams of food for meals and main dishes, 3 grams or less per 100 grams, and not more than 30% of calories. Like they dive deep into all of the words that people use on their labels and what they actually mean. What kind of floored me was in the butter section. I know someone who uses Can't Believe It's Not Butter, and in that section, for that particular, I'm trying to find it. They go through like why that particular one was bad, and they talk about how food companies only have to put trans fat on their label if it's below 0.49 grams of trans fat. So if you if you see no trans fat, it could still have a little bit of trans fat because it's not regulated hard enough so that they don't have to label it. And so what they did here with I Can't Believe It's Not Butter, which is an alternative, it's that spray butter stuff, in particular the spray. First of all, their serving size on here is 1,700 servings per 12-ounce bottle, which is kind of ridiculous because no one, for the most part, sprays one spray of butter, or butter. I'm gonna call it butter. It's not even real butter once you read the ingredients on it. But so the reason why they do so many servings is because they can get below that 0.49 grams per serving, so that they can label it as no trans fat. But if you're taking that thing on there and you're doing like 10 sprays or dumping some of that on there, I mean, you're getting all kinds of, in fact, they do the math here for you. So we can calculate that the grams of fat in a 12-ounce bottle are close to the serving size, 1,700, times 0.49, which would be 833 grams. When we multiply that by 9, which is the calories in 1 gram of fat, we can see that the 12-ounce bottle contains approximately 7,497 calories. And so if you're using, I can't believe it's not butter, and you're not just doing the one spray, you might want to do a little bit of math and kind of figure out how long one little bottle of that stuff is lasting you, so that you know how many calories and how much fat and all that stuff that you're getting into your meals. Because I guarantee you, with one spray, that should be lasting you 4.5 years, and I don't think it is. So they go into so much detail in this book. That was just one example. I can highly recommend this book. Like I said, I'm gonna link it up down in the description below. As I go through some of the products in here that they say that you should steer here for, I'm going to probably do some reviews of it, just because I've been so interested in eating healthier. I'm just trying to do one thing here and there that I can better myself with, because the more and more I better myself with, just on a daily basis, you know, switching over from one thing this week and then switching over from another thing the next week, I believe that you can make those small changes. It's kind of like with doing the Dave Ramsey Total Money Makeover. It takes those little slashes at a time to equal to that big slash of getting rid of the big thing that's really bothering you. And so can't recommend that book enough. I thoroughly enjoyed that book and highly recommend it. If you guys want to check it out, like I said, linked up down in the description below. Otherwise, I'm gonna put that Bulletproof Diet book on the screen right here. It's very much like a keto type of diet. If you're interested in that, you might want to check that out. Something that I've been getting into. I'll see you on that video. Thank you, dads, for watching. That thumbs up is always appreciated. Let me know what's another good book that you guys have read about nutrition down in the comments below. Thank y'all for watching, and Dad out.